Hi guys. So today I will talk about one of the use case in Qflow about a real-time classification, image classification with TensorFlow, with some integration with AutoML and Qflow pipelines, and how we are serving that endpoint and how we integrated that into a real-time streaming image classification. So, so I pasted the link about my GitHub link where the particular project is there, and you can reach out to me in LinkedIn also. And okay, so what I will cover some of the architecture about this particular use case in Keyflow, and how we build that as a pipeline end to end as a training component, and how we are going to integrate CATIP with the Bayesian optimization framework, and how after the training of the pipeline, the model weights can be pushed down for the prediction serving layer in Cave serving, and setting up the Kafka with Minio connector so that the Kafka source event can predict the incoming images as a real-time batch or real-time streaming images from any devices or IoT devices, right? And after that, how to build the pipeline in a DSL component, and running the pipeline from KFP and from Jupyter Notebook. So I'll show that also, and serving the endpoint by testing the endpoint in with Minio, and monitoring the things into Grafana. So I'll just give a brief, right? What is Kubeflow, right? People who don't aware about Kubeflow, right? So Kubeflow is a development machine learning workflows on Kubernetes, and it's can be scalable and portable and simple, right? And it supports all the multi-cloud integration across AWS, and Azure, and GCP, and local, also, right? And it contains some of the components, the below few of the components which I'll be using in here. So that we have AutoML CATIP, we have Kubeflow pipelines, we have Cave serving, we have distributed training. The distributed training can be any machine learning frameworks like PyTorch job or TensorFlow job or an MXNet job. And we have a Jupyter Notebook environment where a particular data scientist can write their own codes and all. And we have a training operator when those operator can be scaled as a worker and chief nodes. And we have multi-tenancy across various users can use those particular notebooks across different namespace in Kubernetes, and they can run their own jobs or pods in workloads in their own namespace according to that, and they can track their work and their running of the pipelines and all entirely into the Kubernetes pods and all. And we have all the integration of about multi-cloud integration in Kubeflow. So here I'll be using basically the Keyflow 1.3 latest version, and I'll be showing that particular demo. So I'll be showing the demo. So that's why I just want to show the particular how it works and what is this particular use case about, and on the high level architecture how I have built that, right? So on the top part, right, when you see like I have an image of batch images of JPG of some sort of a classification image, and we can take any sort of image of real-time image, and but we have a set of pipelines where we can frame it around. Now this particular batch data of images I have posted into Keyflow pipeline. So I built a pipeline on top of that, and once the pipeline, we have some TensorFlow jobs and TensorFlow training components which will train the component, and the particular training component will first trigger a AutoML job in CATIP, and the best with the Bayesian optimization, and it will run some sort of trials about and parallelism in the CATIV also, in which will run on the Kubernetes on the spec on workloads and on the Kubernetes. Once the CATIV has operation is completed, right after that, the best parameter of my training job of my particular TensorFlow use case will be pushed to a next for training job. So the best model will go for the training again, and it will save the model artifacts in any sort of any sort of bucket. Either it's a PVC, either it's a S3, either it's a GCS bucket. So once that I have my train model on the GCP or S3 buckets. Now I have the second part, right? So right now I don't have any IoT devices. So let's imagine we have some IoT devices where we are taking some snapshot of screenshots of images. Let's say we have images from real-time traffic camera, which taking some continuous images as a batch images, and those images as real-time streaming images, and we're taking some frames of the images. Now we can have a lot of IoT devices either from video or from different domains, so use case either ATM machine of withdrawal and everything. Now the snapshot of images, let's say we are dumping into Minio. So what is Minio? Minio is a high latency storage object which you can integrate into Kubeflow, and we can directly dump our images there. So it's a and which can be deployed into Kubernetes only. So once we have the real-time streaming images which is coming from any IoT devices, all the raw images will be dumped into Minayo. Now what Minayo will do, now whenever a particular image dumped into a Minayo object storage, we have a knative event alert mechanism. So this knative event alert mechanism will trigger a particular event, right? Let's say we have gave a notification. If an image comes with .jpg extension, it will trigger a mechanism of a Kafka connectors, and which will produce incoming message of a Kafka connector will reproduce those message as a .jpg extension image has been dumped into the Minayo. Once the particular image has been dropped here, so it will trigger a Kafka event source. That event source will trigger a particular prediction to the Kave serving endpoint. So we have a serving endpoint. That serving endpoint we had developed up to when we have the incoming images from, we have trained the images. Now these particular images, when we have came into the object storage, it will trigger a Kafka event source event. Now this event source has been integrated to our Kave serving inference services, and our Kave serving inference service will do the basic pre-processing of the images, and it will predict on top of what is the particular classification is about. Either is any classification according to the business domains and all. Now what's happening in the underlying is like we have a Kafka topic. Now that Kafka topic is integrated to a particular inference service in our Kave serving. Now both are acting simultaneously to take the image from Minayo and dump the images of the predictions to that. Once that we can load the model of our TensorFlow models or any PyTorch model from any bucket. We can give the credentials, it will load the model, and we can monitor the particular Kave serving in a Grafana dashboard where the health metrics of that. This is the high level architecture which is about on the real-time streaming. Now let's break down the serving layer. Let's imagine a IoT thing camera is taking a snapshot of images. How it will work, right? Now, once the image is dumped here, right, it will come into and dumped in the Minayo. And let's say I have created a bucket and one image came of a classification image. Let's say it's a dog or cat. Now, particular image came into that particular Minayo bucket. It will notify a message into the Kafka topic. Now Kafka topic will trigger, we connect to Kafka topic in Kubernetes and Kubeflow with our driver node, right? Once that, right, we drop the particular images, we have a Kave serving endpoint. Now this endpoint, obviously it's integrated to our Knative event source. Now this Knative event source will alert the particular Kave serving. It will hit the particular Kave serving endpoint. It will tell Kave, okay, there is a particular set of images came up, and what the model will try to do, it will try to predict on that incoming images. So whenever, let's say, a batch of real streaming images is dumping into that, so it will notify a .jpg extension image has been dropped, and it will trigger the Kafka message and Kafka topic. It will push as a publish as a Kafka producer. Once that, and it will be integrated against our Kafka event source, and all the events which is happening at a period of time, it will try to predict on top of the Kave serving. Now Kave serving will take all the input images and it will try to predict it. Again, it will try to publish those particular prediction images back to Minayo object storage. So this is the high level breakdown of the serving level. I think let's go to the demo part. Okay. So before setting up this particular thing, we need to have a few set of thing on, like we have to have set up our Kubernetes, we have to deploy our Kubeflow, we have to have deploy our Kave serving, and we have to deploy our all the setup of this H2 ingress and all, right? Now, once we deploy that, let's say, and we have to deploy the Kafka also. Once the Kafka is deployed, and we can have see the logs if the Kafka is running or not. And once the Kafka is deployed, then we can install all the Knative eventing and Knative event source. And we have to install address reservoir also. So this reservoir will act as a connector to our Kafka. And once that, we'll deploy a pod. Now I'll show this pod, how this pod Kafka client looks like. Now this Kafka client, so Kafka client, we have to deploy a particular pod, and this Kafka client will take the image of a Docker image of Confluent Docker image, and this will run on our Kubernetes cluster. Once that, this will try to connect, this pod will try to connect to the Kafka driver, which we have deployed in Kubernetes. Once that, what we'll try to do, we'll try to create a topic of Kafka topic of, let's say we have created a topic of real-time image, and we'll try to see any sort of particular images there or not, right? Once that, the next Kafka is integrated, and we have integrated these things, and we have to deploy the Minayo part. Now we have to install a Minayo with some driver configuration of Minayo, and we have to install the Minayo client so that we can locally we can connect it to the particular driver. Now first we have to connect to the pod of a particular Minayo pod which is running on 9000 port on SVC, right? So once that, we can locally we can connect to that pod with the credentials of password and username, and we can directly create with this Minayo client two buckets, either raw image where the incoming image will be dropped, and the image prediction where the prediction results will be dropped. And we have to set up an event notification. So this notification will try to say, okay, which topic of Kafka and what is the broker address of my Kafka. Once that, it will notify like some images has been dropping into Minayo, and this will set up the notification like the .jpg extension notification is coming or not. So once that, we have to restart the Minayo, and it will start the Minayo. And again, so let's say like, and we giving a notification, let's say a suffix of .jpg image in this particular bucket name, you will notify it. Now once we do that, right, let me say like what is the next step. The next step will be inference service. So let me break it down here. So first thing what I have to do, like I have to go to that, I have to create a pipeline. So I have to create a pipeline on Kubeflow pipeline where I can train the model. I have to train the model. The first component I will talk about the KATIP. So KATIP, where before starting with the KATIP, we have to see what sort of frameworks we have to see. Now, first I was taking Bayesian optimization. So build a particular KATIP Docker image. I have to import. I was using a TensorFlow image, right? So now, so what I was trying to do, a particular image classification of a different multi-classify image or not, right? So it's a classification problem which will talk about multiple classifier. So let's say my incoming logs. So this is the incoming logs of my Python file of model.py file. So as I am not providing any log path, so my KATIP logs will be stored in std out in the default paths. So I have my image path of my real-time data of where I have to train the model, and I took that model from TensorFlow Keras libraries where these predefined models are there. Now I was predefining few of the batch size and height, width, and all that on top of that. And then we have a two training operator for training DS and validation DS. So we'll create the data. We have to create the data in TensorFlow pre-processing image classification. So once we do that, right, we have to shuffle the data to a particular sorting, so that it will shuffle the data of training image. And after that, we can do some pre-processing on top of that, and we can log the model. Now this will build the model. Now if I go here, my model has been built here. So this is about the model of my TensorFlow models, which will build here. Once that, I have some callbacks. So this callback will track the logs for my KATIP. So these logs will be tracked as logging.info of any sort of dot format method of loss, accuracy, validation, either confidence interval or any sort of matrices F1 score we can integrate. So these logs will be tracked by KATIP, and it will try to see which metrics I want to minimize or maximize. So I'll talk about the minimize and maximize in KATIP, how which parameter or metrics KATIP will track to optimize for the best model results. Let's say I have a loss accuracy and validation accuracy. I will track the validation accuracy about should be maximum, right? So I'll show that also. So once we do that, right, once you train that, we have some model fit, and it will try to train the model. Now we'll Dockerize this particular entire code, and we'll have a Docker file for that, Docker image for that. So once we do that, it will go to the next step. I'll talk about the next step. It's about training step. So the best model will go to the particular training step, and we will do the same sort of operations about getting the. So these are the three search space for my KATIP: learning rate, optimizers, and dropout. I took those three space to see which are the best parameters for training the models. Right? Again, I will train the model with the same sort of framework, whatever I used in my KATIP, and it will try to train the final model with the best epochs, and it will try to find the best model, and it will deploy it will save the model artifacts in Google Cloud Bucket or any S3 bucket, right? Now, once I do that, right, I will talk show about the cat tip, right? How you build the cat tip, right? How you build the cat tip, right? So let's say I was using Catip SDK. So a few SDK we have to install few of the SDK like KFP, and we have to install some Kubernetes, and we have to install the Keyflow Catip of some versions. So once we do that, we have to import those particular libraries. So we have to import those particular matrices for Catip. So we have to define some space for trials for Catip. So the first trial count, I will say how many trials I want to train my entire Catip models for, so that I can see across 12 different trials it will try to train the model. So the very next it will try how many times it will try to fail. So the maximum number it will try to fail, and it will stop the Catip job. So that we can give a threshold on top of it. The next one will be how many trials you want to run parallelly. So I can run 3, 4, or according to Kubernetes on the back end of the workloads. So once we do that, we have our object spec for Catip where I want to maximize. So for in this case, I want to maximize my validation accuracy, which we got here, the tracking of the metrics. So I was tracking this metrics where I was this logging info will save the logs, and I was trying to maximize my validation accuracy here. So once I maximize my validation accuracy, I was tracking the other matrices also, loss and accuracy of my training data. So what is the goal I want to achieve? I want to achieve 95% of accuracy on top of that. Now, once I define the particular object specification of what objective of my Catip will train, once I had done that, I will jump to that specification of Bayesian optimization, which optimizes. So there are a lot of optimizations. There is HyperOpt, there is Chocolate Framer, there's a Raytune, and there's a random and Bayesian optimization. So for now, I took a Bayesian optimization, right? So once I do the Bayesian optimization, I will try to see what is the early stopping spec of I will try to see. So I will try to see what which algorithm I'll try. So I will try with the median stop algorithm, which will try to see the best between the two specs of trials and all, and it will try to stop on top of that. Or on RD stopping on, let's say the accuracy is not increasing on further training of the model, it will try to stop there and there, right? Once I do that, then we can have our metric specs. So this is the specs or collector. So the logs which is dumping in the TensorFlow models like logging.info, it will try to get the logs from that st.out as a default spec. Now, once we do that, what in the TensorFlow, what are the parameters we want to have a search space? Now, let's say learning rate. I have the learning rate and I have a double environment. And what is the minimum and max search space I want to give for my model to train? And it will randomly take the best parameters from that for each trial, and it will try to train the model. Once you try to train the model for learning rate, it will try to take the SAM matrices for optimizer also and for dropout also. So I've defined my particular space for for my training of a model, right? What is the next step I will try to achieve? The very next step I will try to achieve the spec. Now this is a spec which we have created here. Now this is the hyperparameter folder where we have created the Docker image. Now this trial spec will work as a worker job in Kubernetes, and it will try to train multiple trials and multiple parallel trials simultaneously, right? Now we have a job, and we can do a right now I took a custom job. We can do a TensorFlow job also with the worker and chief nodes. Also we can do a PyTorch job also. Right now I took a random trial jobs with basic Kubernetes trial worker job. Now I have created whatever the Docker image I've created. I published my Docker image on top of that. And these are the incoming parameters which I've defined earlier here. The three parameters: learning rate, optimize, and dropout. I have published it here, so you can give the trial parameters from my Catip space job to this spec, right? So once we define the job of trial spec, we can define what is the trial template. Now we have to define the trial template to run the trial template in our Keyflow orchestrator. So we have to define the trial template, and we have to define some name, and this trial template will try to see which sort of space and trial specs are there. So there are three specs are there already. We have three components like learning rate, dropout, and optimizer. We'll try to take those particular trial jobs. Once we do that, we have to there is a particular API for V1's experiment spec. So this experiment spec will take the job and configuration which we have declared above, from above: the trial count, the max fail trial count, the objective, the algorithm, the early stopping, the metric specs, and all the parameters from the above. So once we declare that, we have to define our our Cative launcher in a DSL container of. So first we have to take those particular predefined component of Cative, which will try to load this particular YML, and it will try to fit those particular parameters which we have defined in our space. And after that, and this particular convert result will try to convert the best parameter which is coming from the Cative, and it will try to print those results, and it will try to provide the same component results to my training component. So, and I can define my set resources of my CPU or GPU on top of that. Right now I have used some sort of a CPU on backend on my Kubernetes workload nodes, so that it can train the model very faster on top of that. Now the very next step is the DSL pipeline, where the DAG operator will try to create the pipeline Keyflow. Now this DAG operator contains some sort of a parameters. So these parameters are the defined space parameters for my model end to end, right? Now before jumping to that, let's say like how I do that. So I have an experiment name. So this experiment name is for my Cative experiment name, where I have a namespace. So this is my namespace where I want to save the logs. So this is the log. This is the parameters for my training. Now how I define this log. So first, the very first thing, I have to create a PVC, and this PVC will store the artifacts during the model training. And I gave some 1 gigahertz of space, and we can have our predefined FSX or of AWS, or we can have our file store from GCP also, and we can have a namespace of PVC on top of that also. So once we define that, we have a launch operator of Cative launch operator. This Cative launch operator we already uploaded here as a particular YML. Now this YML operator will try to validate the experiment spec for what is the experiment name, what is the experiment namespace, and this is a spec which we have defined earlier. It will try to serialize that particular in some certain JSON format, which will be an input to a YML. And once we do that, what is the timeout? I gave 240 minutes of let's say 4 hours of time to for the trial to finish. If it processes, so the model will fail, and delete the finished experiment. If I can give like if the model failed or the Cative operator failed, it should not be finished. Once after that, I have set up the particular resources of 4 gigahertz. So I have set the particular 4 gigahertz on top of that and memory limit to train the parallel operators in Cative. So once I trigger that, I have my operator function spec, which will try to convert the results of my incoming images from this operation. So whatever the Cative results came, the best parameters will try to convert those results. Once you do that, the best parameters will go to this DAG of training operator, where it will try to train the model again, and it will try to save the model. Once we do that, we have our cave serving template. So this cave serving template I'll talk about here on the how we build that. So first thing, what we can do, like first thing, we have to connect to the Minayo. So the incoming images, what are the raw images which will come, we have to connect to the Minayo services. So once we do that, I took a case serving custom template right now. What we can try to do, we can load the model. So this is the particular environment of path of the model where it's stored. It's a GCS path. We can give it from a YML also, and we are loading the model of the TensorFlow model in our Cative in cave serving load operator. And once you do that, we are doing some sort of a batch operations. Now we have two operations. If the incoming images is not a real time, it's a batch pre-processing, batch prediction, we can do a batch prediction also. If the incoming event name is on the Minayo services, so it will try to load the images from the Minayo, and it will try to save the images from Minayo and try to do the pre-processing and try to predict on top of it. So I have an image classification of 5 image classification, where it's about 5 flowers are there, where it will try to predict which flower is which or not on top of that. So I can load the model on top of that, and I can try to predict on top of that. Once I try to predict on top of that, I can take the probability score on top of that, which is the maximum probability of that. Once that we can save the model in cave serving only and directly on the Docker only. Once you do that, we serializing the model of the image and try to upload the image of predictions into back to Minayo again. Once we save the model, and we can try to return the request in KF serving also. What is the particular image of predictions and what is the number prediction class, and this is the particular template which we are following, and we have to provide a KF serving name, and this name should coincide with a YML where you should where should be the name should be same, and these are the environment variables which are providing from the outside, and you can provide the particular Docker image. And this is the KF serving template of my inference of version v1 alpha 2, where we can provide this and we can deploy that. And the similar sort of template of YML, we can see it here. This is a particular JSON format YML template, and the same template will try to replicate a substitute of GCS path, so where my model is stored, the particular namespace where I want to deploy my KF serving, and what is the serving image. So what is the Docker image you are seeing, we can create a Docker image on top of that, and we can save that in here, and it will try to deploy that. So once I do that, I can have a resource spec. I can, and this resource spec as a resource op, it will try to load the deployment of my KF serving. It will try to see the condition of apply, and it will try to match the success condition as a status.url. Then we can define after which step we can save this DAG operator. Now this will run after the train operator. Then what we will try to generate, we will try to generate a YML file. So it will try to generate a YML file, and so this YML file is our pipeline. So we have a KFP pipeline as an API, which will try to upload the pipeline. So I've created a particular experiment in my Kubeflow where we can run the particular set of trials and experiments. So this is the KFP client where we can get the experiment details and all. On top of that, let's say I have this pipeline in my local, so I can provide the path of this pipeline, and I can give, let's say, example. So I try to particularly upload that file. So if I go to my Kubeflow dashboard, so I have my latest pipeline uploaded from my Kubeflow DAG operator, which we have built right now. So if you go to that, we can have a pipeline ID on top of that, where we can try to run it from there, from UI, or you can run it from programmatically from the KFP node in our notebook. So once you do that, right, we have our pipeline details, what is this pipeline about and all. And these are the pipeline parameters which will try to trigger the Cativ job and the operator of all the training specs and all. Once we do that, right, once I declare these parameters and all, we can run the pipeline in a set of one go, right? I can run this. So once we run that, trigger that, it will try to run the Cativ job. Let me go here. So it will try to run this particular Cativ job. So I already trained the pipeline before this call, and it will try to load all the Cativ spec. So these are the Cativ space, the trial spec, what we are trying to achieve, and what is the objective we are trying to achieve, and it will try to train the model in a particular spec. Now this is the particular Cativ which is trying to achieve. Now if you can see here, the accuracy of my model and the validation accuracy of my mod TensorFlow job is trying to achieve maximum, and we can get all the succeeding the validation laws and the accuracy on top of that, how it's working, and in each trial and each spec. Now we gave 12 trials, and each simultaneously it can train 3 times, I mean parallelly on top of that. So each trial report as a model artifacts in Cativ dashboard. We can try to track this one, and we can see which model is best one and which one is the not the best one, right? And this is the learning spec or learning operator, optimizer, and loss. So it will try to see which one is the best one. So on top of that, the best model which was trained on top of that, it will try to go to my next step for my Cativ convert results. So this Cativ convert results will take the Cativ launcher, and it will try to see which are the best parameters. So these are the best parameters for my Cativ results. So these are the learning rate, which are the best model. This is the optimizers for my best model, and this is the dropout for my best model. Once I get the input from my convert results, I will try to train the operator and of a TensorFlow job, which will try to again train the model again on top of that, and we can have the deployment also, the KF serving deployment on simultaneously. So it will try to deploy the KF serving in a single go. So we have the entire flow, we have the Cativ, we have the particular best model results. We can train the model again, and we can save the model artifacts to GCS bucket or PVC, and we can simultaneously deploy the model, and we can directly connect from the Jupyter notebook of Kubeflow, where we can directly connect to that. So let's imagine like I have my serving endpoint dumped in our Kubernetes cluster, right? Now, how the real-time image will work. So right now I am connected to my cluster. Right now I've connected to the Minayo cluster like kubectl and all, and I've connected to that. So how I can do that? Let's see. So this is the Minayo object storage where my incoming image of my IoT devices might dump, right? So what we can do, let's say I want to upload an image. So let's take some image. So try to upload an image. So it created a folder right now. So this is the prediction results. Let me try to save the prediction results. So my prediction results has been dumped as a dandelion. So this is the flower. So for any incoming image, we can, right now I don't have any IoT devices. We can connect all the IoT devices and we can to the Minayo, which will dump the real-time images, and you can do some classification on top of that. And with that, we can connect to any devices, and we can have the real-time batch streaming or video streaming also with Kubeflow, with Katib, and end-to-end stack. So once we do that, right, what is the next step? So we saw the real-time image notification, right? We saw that. Now we can have a batch serving also on top of that. So let's say I have a predictor and I'm connected to the internal DNS, of my case serving endpoint, and I've got it connected to the session of my particular inference service where it's there. And I have a set of images where multiple images are there which I want to try to predict. So I will try to replicate the same scenario. This is a batch prediction on cave serving, which will try to predict. On top of that, it will serialize the encode or decode the image on top of that, and it will try to predict for the which one is so for this first image, this is the raw image, and this is the prediction which came. So this is the particular image of dandelion, and the prediction dandelion is came, right? So this is another image for dandelion, the prediction has also came. So this is how about a real-time streaming of a particular image we can do with cave serving, with AutoML, with the training of a Keyflow orchestrator, and we can quickly deploy that in a one go. And this is how it works on a device base and on an event source on top of that. The next thing which I want to replicate the same. So we have a cave serving, and we've seen the Katib, we have seen the training pipeline, and we can see the Katib cave serving endpoint results, the prediction health score, and everything on Knative dashboard, how predictions is working, how the HTTP request is coming, and how the request volume is working, what is the incoming traffic on top of that. So this is how the end-to-end real-time image streaming with our cave serving, with AutoML, with our training in Keyflow and Jupyter notebooks, it will work. So I'm open to questions, anything.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
thank
this is really great. Do you have any questions from the community? Go ahead, go forward.
Hi, Anirudh. Yeah, great presentation. So I had one query. So I'm new to Kubeflow, I'm new to Katib. So what I wanted to know is that in case of retraining, so I see this entire flow of the pipeline where you have a train, then you're storing the metadata, storing the object based on the best parameter, and using that for the serving. But my question is, when there is a retraining that could happen like a daily basis or so your first experiment goes in, you have that best parameters, then you have a next set of training, and let's say this particular deploy is not part of your pipeline as well.
Correct.
Does Katib give you any out of the box API in which we can at least in the inference layer we can auto determine which is the best model to go with?
I think Katib will give you the best model, right? But to inference layer, we can connect it like this. See how it will work. It let's say in this pipeline. In this pipeline, when we run this only Katib of my Katib job, it will try to train the model across multiple specs. And let's say the day one you have trained the model across this Katib, and it will try to deploy all the results in a tabular format or any sort of artifacts. Now the best model will be chosen, and it can automatically rerun your triggering mechanism. We can there is a rerun triggering mechanism in Keyflow also, which can rerun this particular mechanism of the best model. which you are running every day or every hour basis or weekly basis on top of your requirements of business domains.
Okay. Okay.
I think let me actually to add this question, Aaron. So is it correct that you're actually asking if Kadib can provide the trained model, because we actually retrained the model for each trial, and it doesn't really matter to have another training step because you can reuse this training model in your KF serving pipeline, right? This was like question about like how we can deal with the pre-trained model before the training step, right?
I know. So multiple training, like on daily basis, weekly basis, we have multiple train models. Now in the serving layer, let's say if it is not part of the pipeline, so maybe so first day, end of the first day when you train, you have an accuracy of 90. Next day you're training, it is 95, but then third day it becomes 85. So finally the model that we trained on the third day might not be that good. The model on the second day of training would be still better than what we had on the third day. Now, if we have a serving layer which we are not redeploying at the end of each pipeline, right? Is there some sort of an API? Is what I want to know. Whether
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'll just give one thing right on that. Let's say the very first day the model gave 80%, and the very third day it gave 95%. We have a canary rollout actually, which the very first day you can deploy the model. If the best model came after 3 days, we can redirect the traffic to the canary rollout. And about the API, I think Anju, you can go ahead with the answer. I think.
Yeah. So just to add here, so I don't. I've seen similar use cases in Kubeflow community. So what people do is that they have a different pipeline altogether, where like the pipeline trigger happens on the model trip. So they figure out that the final the prediction rate is not good. So let me re-trigger the pipeline and then retrain the model in that and then redeploy. So that's how people do that, like from the pipeline. And in the pipeline, also you could do a scheduled workflow trigger. So basically like every 2 days or 3 days, something like that. Or even like you could actually add a component which could trigger from an external event.
Okay, like an external controller to make the decision. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys. Yeah, it was a good. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, by the way, like this is like very exciting pipeline. And Anurag, just one question from my side. Do you want to contribute this pipeline in Kubeflow upstream, for example, in Kadib repository under examples repo?
Yeah, sure. And I have my I'm making this particular repository, I think, so I can directly integrate this, I think.
Yeah, I think it would be really interesting for our users to see this directly in Kubeflow upstream. For example, if you don't mind, just maybe we can put it under examples repo.
Sure.
Make a lot of sense. Do we have any other questions from the community regarding to this example? Yeah, sounds great. Yeah, I think that because the question is about model management is very interesting, and I think we can discuss about it in Q&A session.